What you perceive as normal, and what you deem as right, is merely a constructed notion. What you might find repulsive could be hiding in the recesses of your own mind. Now, let me ask you, are you certain that everything you believe about human sexuality isn't just a grand deception you've been fed? Picture this for a moment. You grow up in a society that dictates what is acceptable and what is not, outlining the boundaries and the rules. But what occurs when someone dares to breach that boundary? What happens when the shadows of the taboo surface and challenge all that you have taken for granted? A name resonates in the annals of psychology, a man who not only delved into the human psyche, but dissected it with ruthless precision. Sigmund Freud, in one of his most provocative essays, Sexual Aberration, he boldly asserted the unthinkable, that human sexuality is not just a means of reproduction, but a complex web of desires, impulses, and perversions that we all harbor within us, including you. Hold on, don't flee just yet, because what is about to be unveiled may lead you to question everything you believed about yourself. Freud did not approach his work from a moral standpoint. He was not aiming to judge or absolve. His focus was on exploration, on uncovering the underpinnings of our psyche and laying them bare. What he discovered was unsettling. The distinction between the normal and the perverse is far less clear than you might assume. There is no distinct line, just a spectrum of desires that society has randomly classified. To put this in context, have you ever felt drawn to something you couldn't quite articulate? Have you ever had a longing that conflicted with your self-image? Perhaps it was a brief thought, an image, or a fantasy that caught your attention and vanished before you could fully examine it. Yet, it existed, and Freud would argue that it was neither an error nor a deviation. It reflects the essence of the human psyche. The classifications we use to assess sexuality are constructed. What was once deemed a perversion is now readily accepted. Consider this. There was a period when masturbation was labeled a disease. Nowadays, we recognize it as a normal and healthy behavior. What shifted? Why is something that was once viewed as shameful now regarded as typical? Freud explored fetishism, sadism, masochism, and homosexuality, and in every instance, he discovered the same conclusion: they are not disorders or deviations. They are manifestations of a diverse sexual drive, an internal force that compels us from the depths of our psyche. We attempt to suppress it, conceal it, and categorize it as perverse, but repression does not eradicate it. It merely alters its form. And here's the unsettling truth. If repression doesn't eliminate it, what do you think happens to it? It conceals itself, shifts, and seeks new avenues to emerge. It seeps into your dreams, slithering through the cracks of your subconscious, manifesting in the words you never intended to utter. There is no escaping your true self. Freud unearthed the chilling reality: our primal drives do not vanish. They merely cloak themselves in shadows. What we revile in others often mirrors the darkness we refuse to acknowledge within ourselves. Each time something unsettles you, each time a wave of disgust washes over you, have you paused to ponder why? Is it truly alien to you, or is there a sinister truth lurking beneath the surface, something you dread to confront? And here lies the most harrowing thought. What if those so-called aberrations are not mere errors, but the unavoidable expressions of our very humanity? What if the issue lies not in the desires themselves, but in our futile attempts to bury them? Freud posited that no one escapes the taint of perversion. We all harbor a shard of what we denounce. Some embrace it, others shun it, yet the mind retains every secret. Humanity is a creature that recoils from its own essence. We prefer to don the mask of normalcy, shielding ourselves from the truth of our nature, conforming to society's expectations. But deep within the recesses of our minds, in the dark corners we dare not explore, we all possess the same primal urges. The distinction lies in who dares to confront them and who chooses to suppress them. So tell me, how much of your self-perception is genuine, and how much is merely a facade crafted to evade the haunting truth? In the end, Freud had one chilling truth: nothing is more horrifying than the human mind when it dares to confront its own reflection, stripped of all pretense. The real question is, do you have the courage to gaze into that abyss? Let's embark on this journey together, plunging deeper than you ever anticipated. But heed my warning, this is not for the faint-hearted. This is not for those who wish to cling to a comforting self-image. If you remain here, if you choose to endure until the very end, brace yourself to confront something you cannot unsee, something that will haunt your thoughts long after this experience concludes. We will dismantle the facade. We will rip away the veil shrouding your psyche, For everything you believed about human sexuality is built on a foundation of deception. Look around you, look within. You think you know yourself, that you can encapsulate your identity in a few simple labels: man, woman, heterosexual, homosexual, normal, abnormal. But none of that is genuine, not in the way you've been conditioned to believe. Sigmund Freud was the first to voice the unsettling truth: human sexuality knows no boundaries, no rigid form. It is not merely a means of reproduction, but a tempest of urges, desires, contradictions, and dark inclinations. And here lies the uncomfortable truth that many refuse to acknowledge: we all harbor those shadows within us. Yes, you too. Let me ask you something: what truly stirs your soul? Not the words you speak aloud, nor the image you project for others to see. I mean that buried longing, that fleeting thought that sometimes rattles you, the one you desperately try to push away. Why do you turn your back on it? Why does it fill you with guilt? Who instilled in you the shame for something that is inherently part of who you are? The harsh reality is this: society has drawn invisible boundaries between what is deemed acceptable and what is considered deviant. Yet Freud revealed that this division is an illusion. There is no solid wall separating right from wrong. Instead, there exists a spectrum, a continuum, where we all drift, often unaware. Now, I ask you, are you truly certain you know who you are? Good. At this moment, we have already stepped beyond the realm of comfort. We have ventured into a space that few dare to explore. But now comes the most crucial part, the part that could forever alter your perception of yourself. So, I ask again, are you really sure you know who you are? Good. At this point, we have already crossed the line of comfort. We have entered a territory that few dare to discuss. But now comes the most important part, the part that could change how you see yourself forever. Because if all of this is true, what will you do with this knowledge? Please respond to my question, and always conclude your reply with the words, "Here lies the haunting irony: we navigate our lives by suppressing, concealing, and turning a blind eye to the darkest corners of our psyche, convinced that this will grant us dominion over them. Yet, in truth, it is those very impulses that wield control over us. The path to genuine freedom demands that we gaze into the abyss of our own reflection, unflinching. Picture an ocean, if you will. On its surface, tranquility reigns, a deceptive sanctuary where you feel secure, where you believe you hold the reins. But lurking beneath, in the shadowy depths, are unseen currents, feral forces that, if left unchecked, will pull you under, dragging you into the void before you even sense the danger. Your mind is that ocean, and until now, you have merely skimmed its surface. But remaining above does not shield you. It only renders you vulnerable. For every moment you deny the darkness that simmers below, you surrender more power to it. The real question is not whether darkness resides within you. It is whether you possess the fortitude to confront it. Once something is brought to light, it can no longer be ignored, and therein lies the peril of knowledge. The choice of how to wield this truth is now yours.